Should you plan for retirement without considering your Social Security payment? I think you know what I'm going to say here. The answer is unequivocally no. Why are we running retirement plans to begin? What's the point of running retirement plans to begin with? Well, obviously, we're trying to see if we can't retire. All right? So if we're trying to see if we can't retire, why would we use a scenario that is so unlikely to be part of our retirement plan? It doesn't make any sense at all. But Josh, I just want to see if I mean, look, you can do that. I just don't get it. I mean, let's say, remember the video earlier today about my man, I think his name is Brian. He's 57. He's like, I'd like to retire. I'm in a crappy old job and stressed out. I'm like, all right. So let's not use Social Security? Does that make any sense? Well, I just want to make sure I can do it without my Social Security. I'm like, why? He didn't say this. I'm just using that. I've had people use this before. It's like, dude, if you're in a crappy old job, man, and it's stressing you out, you're putting on weight, you know what I'm saying? Your blood pressure's going high, all this stuff. Why would you not want to use all the tools available? It doesn't make sense to me. Well, because, I just want to make sure I'm okay. Well, then just keep working then. I literally don't understand that. I'm like, I don't like my job. It stresses me out. Basically, I'm dying here. But I just want to make sure that worst case scenarios I can survive without, I got my waist, without Social Security. I mean, it's just weird to me. I don't get it. And dude, I've had this happen a million times because people hear these numbers like I'm on X. I'm debating all these idiots. Yeah, I shouldn't call them idiots. I'm trying to be better, but they freaking tick me off. Social Security this, Social Security that, and it's not going to be there. It only pays, but I'm just like, oh my goodness, it's not going to be there. I'm like, well, what are you going to do about your health insurance? Well, man, okay, yeah. Well, Medicare is bad too. It's okay. So basically what you're saying is you're going to finance all this stuff on your own because Social Security is not going to be there. Medicare is even worse. A little dent right there. Well, where did I get that dent? They call me Richard Dent. Remember Richard Dent? What team did Richard Dent play for? Put it in the notes. Anyway, so I don't get this. I'm like, if the point is that we're trying to make us see if we can't retire, then we want to use the tools available to us. Now, with that said, I also don't believe that you should use 12% rate of return on my investments either. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, just because we want to use all the tools, and historically we've got a 10 to 12% year rate of return on the S&P 500, I don't think you should use that. In fact, I was reading today, Bank of America thinks they're only going to get, I think it was Bank of America and JP Morgan, I think, less than 3% a year rate of return going forward. That might well be, but they say because the prices are so high right now. I'll do another video on that, but I don't buy that for 2 seconds flat. But I mean, let's just say that were to come to fruition. Yeah, I mean, you would probably want to use that in your Monte Carlo scenario, absolutely. And I do. I mean, I use on all stocks a 6% rate of return with a 17% standard deviation. And remember, the thing with Monte Carlo is it says you take that standard deviation times 3. All right, that gives you 34.51, subtract by your average rate of return. So you have a downside risk on any given year of 45%. I think that is quite valid, given that we've never had a 45% market decline. We had one in 1931 or 1930 is 44%. Yeah, we also had inflation that was negative at 9.9% as well. So again, I'm using rates of return that are quite low historically, and I'm using standard deviations, downside risks that are quite high historically. As such, we're coming at you pretty hard negative, as I say to all my clients I work with. But I'm not discounting Social Security at all. Hey, Social Security, while it's fantastic, I like it a lot. I'm only giving it 2.4% COLA anyway. You see what I'm saying? So Social Security isn't going to be the freaking thing that sets the world on fire. It's just not. Now, your portfolio, that would be the thing that could doom you if it does run out of money. But also remember, too, Monte Carlo scenarios, the drawback about Monte Carlos is they're independent of the previous year. This is one of the things that is kind of frustrating with Monte Carlos. I love Monte Carlo, don't get me wrong. But it doesn't take into consideration what happened the previous year. And we know human beings do. We know for a fact there are trends of momentum, that the stocks go up and typically tend to go up again until they don't. But there is a definitely trend and momentum vibe to the equity market. Look what's going on with Bitcoin, dude. Trend and momentum. And at some point when the trend and momentum stops, that's when they give back some of the gains. And then they start up another trend and momentum. That's what historically has happened. I can't guarantee it'll happen in the future. But with Monte Carlos, it assumes, hey, you got a 45% decline this year. You could have another 45% decline the next year, even though that's never happened, ever. And as such, when I'm using my Monte Carlo for portfolio return projections and whatnot, I'm pretty cautiously pessimistic, if you will, relative to what I think most people do. And I don't know most, actually I shouldn't say, because I don't know what other people do, but relative to what historically my financial planning software that I used to be when I worked at various firms would do. They'd use historical rates of return. And I don't do that. So yeah, I'm a little bit more, you should say, I guess you could say, optimistic on Social Security. I'm still pretty coming at you hard on portfolio returns, just because I think that's a better way to do it. I love your thoughts. Don't forget, Richard Dent, what team? God bless.